Hey there guys, the YouTube. Just here today doing nothing, to be honest, uh, while making this video. I'm trying to be productive today, just because of the weather. It's raining. It looks like the rain has settled in and I won't be able to do anything. So that brings me to be able to do this for you. Explain a few things with the animals that I have here and what's my goals and purpose of having my animals, and that's just part of the journey of being off-grid. And yes, off-grid meaning I've got no no power source coming in from the grid, no water coming off from the grid, nothing. So solely have my own solar, have my own water tanks, and solely providing my own energy. So that's a different story altogether. I've got bare minimum power now because it's overcast, and one of my inverters blew out, so I've just got a spare one, but it's only 2,000 watts, no 3,000 watts, and I cannot hook up enough panels for it. So bare minimum power until I get the new unit, and thankfully for the family supplying that. So thank you Selena and Musk for supplying that inverter for us. So the other thing is get back onto path where the animals that we have chickens, we have dogs, we have pigs, and we have sheep. So, and that's the start. We haven't got many of anything, but it's the very beginning. So the first thing I will say for the chickens, and our sole purpose for the chickens is I want to breed our own chickens and to be able to have our own layers, and so I don't have to outsource or buy in my own chickens, because it's very difficult here trying to get chickens, and they're about $5 each. But I have to go to the main island and figure out how to get chickens from there, and there's not a constant supply. They'll have them sometimes, they don't have them sometimes they dish around about 10 chickens out. Sometimes they might do it on the island here, and you gotta know the people and get in when you can. So what I will be doing is breeding my own chickens, and I'm just waiting for the other power unit to come in. So we've got our own incubator, so we can breed our own chickens. I've already started breeding our own chickens. I've got around about 15 chickens that I've bred myself, but they are a half caste breed between the wild chickens here and the layers. So I'm just seeing how they go, and what I'll do, I'll take a male out of that, kill off all the males except for maybe 2 or 3, and breed them into the layer hens again. And then once I get those siblings, I'll pick out a couple of roosters from there and cull the other older roosters, and I'll just keep on doing that so I can get back the original bloodline of the layer hens. And I thought they were Rhode Island chickens, but they're not. They're a different kind of layer, and they're a smaller layer, so they're not very good for meat either. So I will try and pick out the best, the biggest, the ones that lay the best, all that kind of stuff. You know how to breed your own chickens. You can make sure you pick the best out of them and then cull the rest. So that's what we're doing there with the layers, and also so they'll lay eggs for us to eat, and also for us to sell as well. What happens with the chickens also is between the months of, they start to die off with the laying around in the end of January, and what happens is they lose a lot of their feathers, and they start to replace their feathers. It takes around about 2 to 3 months. So with that cycle, they stop laying. And then they'll probably in May they'll start laying again. So there's a time where I have to fork out feed and they're not laying, so I'm not getting an income to be able to pay back the feed. So if I do it correctly, so I reduce the feed so it's profitable during the months that they're not laying, and I let them roam free pretty much all day so they can get their own food. But in the mornings I'll feed them, lock them up for a little bit, for a couple of hours. Once they finish their food, then I let them out. I do that just because of my little small hens or little chickens that they're growing up right now, so they don't bully them while they're feeding as well. So I let them roam free as well. So that's what we're doing with the chickens. The next one is dogs. So if you follow me, I've brought American Bully over from Australia, right? And I like this breed of dog, American Bully, especially for the islands here. It's a good guard dog, a very good guard dog, very humble dog. It'll be a companion dog that's literally focused on you all the time, and it just wants to be a lap dog. It's a big lap dog. But when it guards, if you've taught it to guard, it'll guard really well, and it won't let anyone in except yourself. But sometimes you can get American Bullies that are really good with letting people in. They'll just go up to anyone. My dog is, if I'm not here, it'll growl, bark, and probably would attack. I haven't seen it do anything like that if I'm not here. But when I'm here, it'll growl, bark until I say stop. Stop, or cut it out, and she'll lay back and just relax back. And then that person come pat it or whatever, and she's fine. She'll come up to that person, and that person will be scared, but all she wants is a pat and just wants to be next to you. So she's just a big teddy bear. She's had pups, and the male that I had that went with her is a male from here, from Tonga. So he's a lot slimmer, but just as tall as her. So he's got the height, and he's just a little bit slimmer. So these pups, I'm gonna see, they'll probably be good pig hunting dogs. I'm gonna keep 2 males. I'm giving out the rest just for this first litter, and then after that I'm gonna be breeding, line breeding. If any of you guys know what line breeding is, and a little bit of inbreeding, just so I can purify that blood to make it back to an American Bully, but choose the right dog to be able to be a guard dog, a pig hunter, and a placid dog with very, very good temperament, because I don't want any drama with dogs attacking anyone off the property. On the property, I don't mind. I'm going to put up signs. You come on this property without me knowing, it attacks you, that's your fault. And everyone knows that on the island now. With Xena, they've seen her. They don't even attempt to come on the property unless I'm here. So that's a good thing. And that's what she was bought for. At the first time that I bought her, I was supposed to breed her overseas. I was overseas during the COVID period time, and I got stuck over there. So I was breeding her over there, and I was going to use her as a breeding program over there, but COVID lifted, and I was able to come over here, so we brought her over here. So that's what we're doing with her. And line breeding, yes, the best scenario is uncle to niece, and auntie to nephew. That's the best program that you can do for breeding your pups. You can make it a little bit closer, but that's called inbreeding. That's not. I will start off with an inbreed just to get that blood a lot tighter, because I've brought in a Tongan dog and he's the male. So I'm gonna do one inbreeding and then breed to uncle to niece, or aunt to nephew, and that's the program that I will be doing here. There might be a couple of mistakes in between here and there, but I'm gonna give out dogs. They'll have their own litters or whatever, and I'll able to choose from there the best dog from there. So that's all I asked from for this first litter, so I can start my breeding program. Tongans over here don't understand it. They don't know what a breeding program is with dogs. I'm not too sure if they've learnt the breeding programs for cattle, sheep, or anything like that in agriculture schooling, but what I know with dogs, they just run wild and they're just all mongrels, and they just pick the best dog out of whatever. They're really good dogs, and they just need to be taught. But yeah, so this will be a breed that I will be selling in the future, and I've got hundreds of people asking me about the pups, and I'm only going to give it to people that have a fully fenced yard, that look after the dog, and I will be able to grab a pup from their litter, the best pup, and that's what I'm looking for. So any of you guys that are Tongan that are here and that are listening to this is what I'm trying to achieve, and in later dates I'll be selling the pups. Next one, that's the plan for the dogs. Next one is pigs, breeding pigs. So I've got a male, 2 females. One was a wild female that I caught in the bush. I just chased it down and caught it. It was only very tiny, and I brought it up from a little suckling. So it's not growing too well, but it's growing. So she's a female. Then I got one female from one of my members at church, and Sephor brought it over, and I was able to, she's growing, not fully mature, but she's getting there. So probably next year I'll be able to start breeding those pigs. And the male is doing really well. His name's Ngako, and Finau, one of my friends, he gave me that the male pig. So I'm very happy with the male pig. Very tame, very placid. He's growing really big, so he's going to be a big male. So that's what I want from a male, right? And the other ones are different bloodlines, and I'll pick the best from those litters, keep those ones, cull off the rest. And the wild mother, I might cull off her later on. We will see, depending on how she breeds. And that's for us to, basically, those are going to be pigs for us to eat. I'm going to keep probably every year 2 males, and I'm going to castrate those 2 males so they grow big and massive, and I'll be able to cull 2 males every year to fill up the freezers. So we'll be able to have pig for at least 6 months or whatever it is. That's the plan there. We're not in that stage yet, but that's the plan in a couple of years time, right? Also for selling, piglets over here does really well. Piglets here. Also, the big pigs over here, they're like the big males that have been castrated. They go for about $1,500 to $2,000. So when it's needed, especially when there is people that have got church feasts or funerals or any kind of function like that, they will spend the money, especially funerals. Overseas people will come over and usually spend a lot of money on cows, pigs, certain things like that, and to slaughter for the funerals. So yeah, that's the plan there. So a couple of pigs for food, a couple to sell, and all the piglets to sell as well. So that's the plan there. I'm still figuring it out how, like, I'm just feeding them coconut now and letting them graze on grass, and that's doing really well. They're doing really well on that. But I'm looking at the space that I have, and I might not have enough space for them to graze grass on, because they tear it up quite fast. And if I move them inside this fence, I don't think I'm not going to have enough soil, because I've got sheep there as well. But we will see. We will see. See here how I can do it. I might have to give them also pig feed as well. Once I start selling pigs, I might be able to afford to buy pig feed and feed them the right nutrition that they need to be able to survive in a smaller area. And then I'll have greens like sweet potato leaves, cassava leaves, all that kind of stuff, and that I have abundantly here already to be able to feed them with for their greens, so they keep healthy. And also coconut. There's always abundant coconut on the property here. The next animal that we have is sheep. So sheep, we've got 2 sheep, 1 male, 1 female, and they were given to us. I went and asked a guy called Manasseh here that he had sheep, and I asked to buy it, and he just gave it because I was just using it as what I'm doing with it now, just using it as a pet and to be able to breed for food, not selling. So the male also, our pastor has sheep as well. He gave us a male as well. So Pastor Mark gave us a male, and very grateful for them to be able to give us these animals for us to be able to grow from there. So they were still quite small lambs, just young lambs, and they're growing quite nice and chubby, so they're doing really well out there. Even with the weather like this, the one thing I do need to do is a bit of a shelter for them, to keep out of the rain. Out of the sun is fine. There's a lot of trees around for them to get shelter for that, but it's just basically to get out of the wet, get out of the rain. So sometimes what happens is if they get too much rain and then all of a sudden a big heat wave comes in afterwards, what I've heard from people, flies will lay maggots in their coat and then they'll get sick and die. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but hopefully I can build the shelter sooner than later and for them to be able to survive quite well. And they're just going to be for food. Once I get to around about 10 to 15 sheep, I can start culling off a couple just for our freezer. And that's going to take a while. It'll take a few years. But I don't mind waiting. I'm more of I'm okay for waiting until then, and to be able to get meat from there. Time goes fast. Time goes very fast. All of a sudden, there's 2 years gone, and you're like, where did this time go? What did I do with my life? You know, a lot of people just go to work every day and come back, and that's all they do, and they don't achieve anything else except for going to work, come back, pay the bills. That's it. But hopefully I can. Well, I am doing a lot more than just that, and it's exciting. So that's my breeding program for my animals, or the goals for my animals that's on the property. And so I'm going to do a few more videos like this on different things, and so stay tuned. What's to come, and so you can get an insight of what we're doing here on the property. It's only 4 acres, guys, so we're trying to make the most of what we have here with the land, with the animals, especially trying to do animals with only 4 acres plus growing crops. It's quite hard. It's when you actually, probably 1 acre and 1.5 acres is going to be vanilla on that, and the rest of it is pretty much, you know, just around about 2.5 acres. So that's all I have to, and probably a quarter of an acre's got the house on it and a little bit of stuff where probably a garden and that for the wife. But yeah, so, and also, yeah, a quarter of an acre for the house and the area for the dogs. So the rest is pretty much 2.25 acres left to animals, meaning sheep, pigs, and also our vegetation where I'm going to plant. I've got pineapples, I've got sweet potato, got plantain and veggie garden, and also I'm looking into potatoes probably this winter. Winter's coming up fast, so yeah, Anyway, more on that on the next couple of videos. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you have a blessed day, and don't forget, subscribe and like if you like this video. Alright guys, bye for now.